Hi, hello, welcome to my video. This is kind of the first time that I've done something like this. I've never really done a voiceover before, and I kind of felt like, well, to be honest, at first I wasn't even planning on doing a voiceover for this video. I originally had a bunch of music just playing, and I was just gonna leave it at that, but I kind of realized that I didn't really like the music that I had chosen for it. I felt like it didn't really fit the piece. It was kind of like upbeat, electronic-y, almost dubstep-y kind of music, but not really dubstep. It's just like, electronic kind of music, and I just felt like it didn't, the mood wasn't really right. It was just, it didn't really fit it. So I decided to scrap that, and I didn't really feel like looking up more music to fill the time because it is like a 13-minute video, so I was like, yeah, I don't have the patience for this. So I decided to just do a voiceover instead, and I figured it would work out because I do have a lot to say about this piece, and I kind of want to have it said rather than just leaving it, just being like, oh, here's this picture I drew, enjoy, kind of thing. Like, I kind of want to talk about what it means to me and who it is and what's happening here, that sort of thing. So, let's talk about the significance of this drawing. This is my character. His name is Silan, and he's very important to me. Well, I don't know if you can hear that, but my computer makes noises sometimes. Just ignore that. But yes, this is Silan. He's a very important character to me. I've actually had him for a while. I think it's been like 8 years. I made him when I was in 8th grade, so yeah, he's one of my oldest characters and one of my most, personal, important characters. And it's just, I kind of started this thing a while back where in 2014 I drew a portrait of Silan, a lot like this one, because when I created Silan in 8th grade, it was for a story that I was writing at the time. And the story was called May 16th. So I've always very closely associated Silan with the date May 16th. And in 2014, when that date rolled around, I just felt like I really wanted to create something for him, and that's how these portraits came about. I drew a portrait of him, and it came out really nice. I liked it, and it kind of became a thing. Like the next year, when that date came around again, I was like, I kind of want to just start doing this now. Like every year, draw a portrait of Silan, and it's kind of like, it's a kind of a nice little marker of, the improvement that I've been doing. I know a lot of artists like to do self-portraits every year to kind of mark their progress over the years, just to see how they've changed as a person, to see how their art has improved, that sort of thing. So this is kind of my equivalent to that, I guess you could say. Just, draw Silan every year and see how he has changed, maybe things that I've changed about him, or just, how my art has changed. The first portrait that I did was a digital portrait, and this one obviously is traditional, and I've done this because of unavoidable reasons, really. I'm trying to keep it pretty much the same over the years. Like, the kind of 3 criteria I've given myself are that his eyes are closed, because this is how it was in the first portrait. His eyes are closed and he's wearing a flower crown, and that it's digital. So I've gotten 2 of those down, but unfortunately, there are things stopping me from doing it digitally, namely my hand. My dominant hand is my right hand, and as you can see, I am drawing this with my left hand, and it's just, I've been having, a lot of drawing-related pain in my right hand, so I've had to, I'm kind of taking a break from drawing with my right hand, and I mean, it is kind of, it's hard, I'm not gonna lie, but I think it's kind of been interesting to try drawing with my left hand, and I mean, let's just get this out of the way. This is not the first time I've drawn with my left hand in this drawing right now. I did a lot of doodles with my left hand in classes and stuff, well, not art classes, just like in my general ed classes, I do a lot of just pencil doodles with my left hand just as kind of practice because I'm like, oh, you know, I can't take this anymore, I have to draw, sort of thing. So, yeah, I have had some practice with drawing with my left hand, and I have gotten a little better, but part of the reason that this one looks so nice, I guess, is because I really took my time with it. Like, I drew very slowly, and I did a lot of sketching, you know, I did a lot of planning, and I was just very careful and thoughtful with how I did my lines, so it's not like, oh, I'm ambidextrous, because no, definitely not. There are a lot of things in here that probably could look better if I had done it with my right hand, but yes. So that is kind of why I had to go traditional with this one, because I have a lot more control traditionally than digitally with my left hand, because it's just, I guess, having something physical and physically being able to drag the pencil along the paper, it kind of keeps me grounded, I guess. So like with digital art, I feel like the pen is just slipping all over the tablet, and it's very hard to control, and you have to be very, you know, there's pressure sensitivity and all that kind of business with digital art, so it's just a lot harder to control with my non-dominant hand. So I went traditional with this. I could have waited until I could draw with my right hand again, but I didn't really want to wait, because the idea of these portraits is to do one, you know, on the day of May 16th, and trying to complete the whole thing start to finish during that day. I haven't been successful at that endeavor yet in my last, well, 3 years now that I've been doing this, but well, it's 2 years technically, but this is the third portrait, and I haven't managed to complete one in one day, start to finish yet. This drawing actually right now took me like 4 days, over the course of 4 days, I think. So yeah, definitely not anywhere near finishing it in one day, but I hope, you know, someday I'll get to a point where I can draw fast enough and be confident enough to just, you know, get it all finished in one day. Still spend a lot of time on it, like not rush anything, but you know, it's kind of like a marathon challenge kind of thing. I don't know. But yeah, so that's what the deal is with these portraits, and why they're, I don't know, very, very important to me and very nice to do. Let's talk a little bit about the flower crown. So originally in my 2014 portrait, I just kind of drew a bunch of random, like it came off the top of my head, you know, I just drew what I felt like that day. Not a lot of thought went into it. I just drew, you know, a bunch of random flowers that I didn't really even think of what kind they were. I was just like, ooh, this color looks nice. Ooh, maybe this one looks a little bit like a rose, you know? But this time, I decided to put more thought into what flowers were actually included, because I do associate some flowers with Silan, actually. So, well, there's like those red ones, like, you know, the one I'm coloring right now. Those ones are just kind of a space filler. I kind of used those just because it looked a little bare without them. But the other three types of flowers are daffodils, forget-me-nots, and pansies, which, let's see. The reason that I chose daffodils and forget-me-nots because they are Silan's favorite flowers. I don't know, I didn't really... It's just been that way ever since I created him. Like, it just, like, popped into my head. I was like, he likes these flowers, so I always associate those ones with him. And then pansy, because, I don't know, when I first created him, he's very timid and shy, and he's not very willing to take a lot of risks, so I always thought that he was maybe a little bit of a pansy. I don't know. That was just like a dumb thing that I had when I created him in like 8th, ninth grade or whatever, but it's just kind of stuck. I just think of him when I see pansies now, especially the white ones with the purple in the middle. Those ones are so pretty, and pansies are actually my favorite flower now, so I thought it was only right to include pansies in his crown. Little flower crown. Well, so cute. So that's the thought behind the flowers, and I think, let's see, let's talk a little bit about the overall color choices that I had, because it was very different. I am primarily a digital artist, so working with traditional media again is kind of interesting, especially with having to choose the colors, because the thing about digital art is that all the colors are already there. You can pick whatever you want, and like whatever hue, whatever saturation, whatever like lightness, darkness, that sort of thing. Like, it's all there, just right there for you to pick from. But with, let's see, I'm using colored pencils here, like I'm just limited to the colors that I have. And I mean, I can do blending and all that, but I'm not very good at that. But yeah, it's just like, it was interesting having only like 3 or 4 browns to choose from, and like 2 like peaches for the skin color. I incorporated some other colors into the skin too, but like, it's just weird being so limited. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but I think I made it work really nicely, I guess. I think overall the piece looks really nice, but it just looks different to how it would if I had done it digitally. Like, I would have had maybe a little more color unity, maybe made all the colors a little like tinted to purple or red or something like that, you know, something more unifying across the piece, so the whole piece feels a little bit more purple or blue or whatever color I would pick. Whereas here, every color is just like its actual color. Like, the hair is brown, the skin is peach, the daffodil is yellow-orange. It's just like as simple as that. Nothing really else going into it. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. The other thing, well, not the other thing, but like something that I struggled with during this piece was his face. You can see me coloring it right now. It was kind of because I chose this very stylized way of drawing him, because, you know, the ears are a little bit low because that's where I decided to put them. I thought it fit with the style, but then I got to the coloring of the face and I realized that I was having trouble making it, like, I was doing too much rendering, it felt like. You know, I was making it very shaded and very realistic, and that's kind of my problem, because now that I've taken a lot of figure drawing classes. Well, I've taken 2, but they've really helped me learn how to draw faces more realistically, and I find now that I struggle not making them realistic, especially when it's like a pretty shaded piece like this one. So I was kind of trying to turn myself away from that line, like that fine line of making it look too realistic for the, you know, stylized approach that I took with the line art. So that was kind of a struggle, and I really had to stop myself towards the end. I was like, okay, if I don't stop working on this now, it's gonna look too realistic and it'll look weird. So I think that if you look at it a certain way, it can look a little weird, but overall, I think the overall feel of it is just the right amount, I think, maybe. I don't know. But it was a very fun piece to do. It was very challenging, especially with the fact that I was using my left hand. There were so many times that I was just like, I don't want to do this, because I kept putting off the face and everything, so I was like too worried to work on it. You can see that that's pretty much the last thing I colored, but in the end, I think it all worked out. So yes, here you can see my, well, that's what it looked like by the end of it, my area where I was drawing. Lots of stuff going around, but yes, this is the finished piece. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Goodbye.